President Trump just showed up to a UFC fight and got a hero's welcome, while the left melts down over it. Why? Because sports fans are done with the woke agenda. But that's just the start. In this clip, Trump and El Salvador's based president, Nayib Bukele, expose the real abuse in sport and the danger of men competing in women's sports. Let's dive in.
Last night, President Trump held basically a cabinet meeting at a UFC fight. He took an entire entourage, including Dana White, down to in Miami to the UFC fight. Brought his granddaughter Kai, who's a great golfer, was not at the
She's
Masters.
University of Miami. Yeah, I bet they're watching the Masters today. University of Miami signee to play golf. I mean, she is an elite golfer.
Yeah, she's absolutely great, and she has a huge following of her own among young people. My kids, that's who they would want to meet. My girls, they would want to meet Kai. But listen, you're absolutely right. He brought some cabinet members with him as well, and he gets this rock star welcoming from every time he goes to UFC.
To me, guys, Trump has taken back sports.
This is what the left hates to see. Trump getting mobbed by cheering fans while their woke sports policies crash and burn. UFC crowds aren't a bunch of far-right extremists. They're regular people sick of men pretending to be women to dominate female athletes.
I was with him at the NCAA wrestling, and women fight women. The idea that a man would identify as a woman and be able to
fight at UFC.
Men are over it. We're done with the ridiculousness, and I think that's kind of symbolic. Daytona 500, Super Bowl, wrestling championships, the UFC, overwhelming cheering.
How did you enjoy the fight?
I thought it was great. I thought they were all great. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever witnessed that?
No, it's first one.
First time.
Something, right?
Yeah.
First time.
5.
Those are seriously tough people.
Any of the fighters say anything to you?
Yeah, they all said. Every one of them came up at the end, and they were great. I mean, they're all warriors. You know, they're modern-day warriors.
What did you tell them, sir?
Just good fight. I mean, the ones, they all came up, every one of them. You saw that. And very respectful of the office.
Trump took a bullet and said, fight, fight, fight. You know what he's about. Afterwards, he got on Air Force One and had his granddaughter, Kai, meet his favorite opponent.
You know the fake news? This is the fake news.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How are you guys? Good morning.
All right, so while the fake news gets a polite good morning from Trump's granddaughter Kai, let's move to Trump and El Salvador's President Bukele, absolutely eviscerating the left's most ridiculous agenda: men competing in women's sports. Buckle up, because this is common sense versus woke insanity.
We're run by people with great common sense.
Yeah, common sense.
Because it's all common sense. Yeah. It's not liberal conservative. It's common sense.
Exactly.
And, do you allow men to play in women's sports? Do you allow men to box your women and box? Because I know you have a lot of boxing.
That's violence.
That's abuse of a woman. It's abuse of a woman. But we have people that fight to the death because they think men should be able to play in women's sports. And some of those sports, it wouldn't matter much, but it still matters. But some of them are very dangerous for women.
Some years ago, like we said, a decade ago or so, women's rights movements were pressuring so that we enacted specific laws to avoid men abusing women. And I think those laws were great because there were a lot of men abusing women. But now some of the same people are trying to backtrack on that and actually trying to make new laws allowing men to abuse women in sports. So actually, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
President Bukele just destroyed the left's entire argument in one sentence. This isn't about inclusion. It's about protecting women from literal abuse. The left's ideology matters more to them than reality. Disgusting.
You know, they have weightlifting records, right?
Yeah.
A woman gets up, lifts weights, she's incredible. A guy gets up and beats her by 100 pounds. What are you going to do? A record that hadn't been broken in 18 years. You know, they put on an ounce, quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce for 18 years. Now they have a guy come up, ping. The whole thing is crazy. But they continue to fight. And I don't like talking about it because I want to save it for just before the next election. I said, my people, don't even talk about it because they'll change. And but I watched this morning, there was a congressman fighting to the death for men to play against women in sports. And you say to yourself, why? What are they doing, right? What are they doing? But your country's not too big in that.
No, of course not. We're big in protecting women.
Good. Yeah. That's right. It's a very important form of protection, too.
And as you can see, most of my cabinet are women. So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's why you're.
And they're not DEI hires or anything. They're just great at what they do. Right?
That's right. This is very impressive.
That's it, folks. Trump proving yet again why he's the people's champion, while the left clings to their delusional gender fantasies. If you think men smashing women in sports is progress, you're part of the problem. But if you believe in common sense, fairness, and standing up to this insanity, hit like, drop a comment below, and subscribe. This is a culture war, and we're winning.